Hello, I'm Chris Platt from Springboard Speech and Language, and this is going to be a very quick video looking at descriptive language and encouraging descriptive language in group work and in the classroom. So it's going to focus on adjectives, but also adverbs and adverbials, so thinking about how something happened, when something happened, where something happened, why something happened. And these are just going to be some suggestions, plenty of other ideas out there, you'll probably have your own, but all of these suggestions are designed to be minimal and in most cases no prior preparation. They're also all designed to work within a group or a class. Group work is really good for pupils with speech and language needs because they get that peer modelling, but also it's much less exposing if you're working within a group rather than being chosen or selected individually. It's perfect if you have a classroom where the pupils are at tables, because you then have effectively a series of groups, and then the groups can feed off each other. You can set up a kind of cascade model where ideas are developed from table to table. So we're going to talk about ideas for descriptive language, but more broadly we're looking at encouraging peer-to-peer talk within the classroom and oracy within the classroom. A quick disclaimer before I start. So all the suggestions for adverbs, adverbials are mine. So if they're rubbish, blame me. But some of the ideas around adjectives come from this book, Word Aware by Stephen Parsons and Anna Brannigan. It's a great book. Chapter 11 is full of games for language and vocabulary. So thinking about adjectives and starting with one of their suggestions, you can have champion word. So champion word is where you choose something, maybe a volcano or a lion or a sandwich. It doesn't really matter what you choose, and then each group has to discuss between themselves and come up with the best adjective they can to describe what you suggested. And then you pick the best adjective overall to become the champion word. Another good activity is noun adjectives pairs. So in this, one pupil starts by suggesting a noun, and then the next pupil has to think of an adjective to describe that noun, and then they think of their own noun, and so on and so forth. So for example, if the first pupil says lion, then the next pupil might say fierce and giraffe. And then the next pupil would say tall and jungle. And the next person might say hot and tiger, and so on and so forth, and it goes round. Something else that is a good activity is to just bring some objects in. You can just bring them in from home. One object per table is perfect, and then pupils think of adjectives to describe that object. So let's just say you decided to bring in a bottle of wine, probably not the best idea. Then, well, we might talk about it being cold, wet, it's quite heavy, transparent. So just coming up with different adjectives to describe different objects. Another game that is really good fun is the Parson's cat, although it doesn't have to be a parson and it doesn't even have to be a cat. But the idea here is that you have something that belongs to someone, and then you think of a letter of the alphabet, and you have to come up with, or groups have to come up with, adjectives to describe what they have, beginning with that letter of the alphabet. It's probably easier to give an example. So if you said the Parson's cat is, and your letter is S, then you would say the Parson's cat is soft. The Parson's cat is smelly, is slinky, is slim, is silent, is small, and so on and so on. And another very simple activity for adjectives, particularly if you have an interactive whiteboard, is just to show a piece of art, or maybe to play some music, or maybe a quick clip off YouTube, and then in groups, each group discusses how they want to describe that piece of art or that music or what they watched. Moving on to adverbials and adverbs, thinking about where encouraging children to talk about where and places and adverbial phrases for where. One game that I've quite enjoyed is Where Would Your Cat Hide? So in this game, you ask every pupil in school to imagine that they each have a cat, and they all brought their cats to school one day, and all their cats are out in the playground running around having a nice time. And then along comes a dog. And it's not a very clever dog. If the cats can hide, if the dog can't see the cats are safe. But if the dog sees the cats, it will chase them. So then what you have to do is think about, well, where will your cat hide? And that will start off very easy. But obviously after you've gone through 15, 20 pupils, everyone's going to have to be thinking quite carefully about different places for their cat to hide, because each place can only take one cat. Thinking about when. So you might ask questions like, when would you say? So when would you say ow? When would you say hooray? When would you say wow? When would you say oh no? When would you say help? And just encouraging pupils to think about when they might say something like that, or when they might hear someone say something like that. Thinking about how. So again, it's questions. It's about asking the questions that prompt those answers to explain about where, when, how, why. So how would you eat a massive ice cream? How would you run for the bus if you were late? How would you call for your lost pet? How would you walk to school? How would you speak to your head teacher? And there you're looking for adverbs as your answer. So you might eat the ice cream hungrily or greedily. You might run for the bus quickly. You might call for your pet loudly. You might walk to school lazily or slowly. You might talk to your head teacher politely. So looking for adverbs there. And finally, think about why. Again, pose questions, maybe funny questions that will make pupils think in a group. Maybe you have a secret answer and whoever gets closest to the answer is the winner. So why is the dog limping? And then students can discuss that. Why is there a dragon in Tesco car park? Why is the girl shouting? So posing problems for pupils to think about, come up with ideas, and then suggest them to the class. So just some simple examples for working on descriptive vocabulary. Hope they're useful. Hope you have fun. Let me know how you get on, and I will see you soon. Take care.